Hey guys, Ali here from Local Knowledge, and today I want to show you a little bit more about the SST charts that you get with your subscription to SatFish. So SSTs are kind of the bread and butter of the SatFish program. I mean, that's really the core that everything revolves around. SST stand for Sea Surface Temperature Charts. What those charts are is there are always satellites orbiting our Earth. We all know that. Well, some of those satellites have been launched by NASA and other weather agencies to give us a better idea of what's going on our Earth. And with such a large percentage of the Earth being water, this is a look directly into the temperature of the water and how those different temperature pieces of water interact, collide. Like, a lot of people think of the ocean as just one big, massive sheet of white cake, and it could not be anything further from the truth. The ocean is really a lot more like a chocolate swirl and vanilla cake. There are different layers to it, top to bottom. Those layers stack up just like the layers of a cake. What we get here is just the surface data, but there's also other data that goes on even deeper. And the other thing that surprises a lot of people about ocean currents is they don't just run one direction. Like in our local waters of California, once summer comes, we've got a current that's running downhill on the outside and a current that's running uphill on the inside. And those currents you've really got to think of as being more in terms of rivers. When you look at a map like I've pulled up here, I think it really helps illustrate that. You can see the currents that have built these warm pockets versus cold pockets versus the edges. If you look here, we're looking at Cabo San Lucas again, an area I love to fish in. And you can kind of see way offshore of Cabo, there's this big temperature break that's kind of got the cape wrapped up. You'll see the red water on the lower half, meaning that's going to be the warmer water. And then above that, you see the cooler water, and you see that well-defined edge. I'm really not interested in the massive chunks of yellow or the massive chunks of red. I'm interested in those areas where that water intersects. Now, to better illustrate that with given atmospheric conditions and changes in the weather and timing of satellites and all that, SatFish gives you a bunch of options. My number one, my primary, my go-to is the High-Def SST. I always look at that. If I get a map like you see here, this is a great shot because the weather is really clear down there right now. We don't have a lot of cloud interference. But if I don't get a map I like, I come down to the corner here, I click on the little calendar, and I start scrolling back through these looking for a map that's got more of the data that I want. And I can get a thumbnail image down here which tells me, oh man, there's a bunch of data in there, that's one that's worth looking at. So that's the first and foremost primary deal. The second thing that's on here, I want to keep this out so you guys can see the labels, is the 3-day Composite SST. What the 3-day composite is it basically takes 3 days worth of SST layers, it lays them all over the top, so areas that were obscured by clouds, weather anomalies, a bad satellite pass, whatever, they all get merged together and they give you a better complete image. Now, while it's more complete, you can see there's no holes in this map, there's no weird areas, there's no nothing. It is not the most current data. So I want to look at the current, even if it's got holes in it, I may not be fishing where those holes from the cloud cover are or whatever, then I'm going to double check everything with the composite, make sure there was nothing weird, and get that 100% fill of pixels to really tell me where to go. Now you have a third option, and this option is your best option for the time of year that I'm currently filming this. It is now April, and we've got June gloom in California. We will not see the sun down at the beach until, if we're lucky, early July. And being able to see through those clouds is what the Cloud-Free SST is all about. This is a totally different satellite. It operates totally differently than the other satellites that give us that high-res image. This is going to be a lower resolution image, but much better than nothing, and it will definitely get you in the right neighborhood. It just might not get you right at the exact house you want to land on. But given this time of year, I know it's an issue for us, and especially the boys in the Northeast, this is all we have to go off of, and it will, like I say, it'll get you in that right neighborhood. The rest of the work is going to be on you, and then as you get deeper into the season, that cloud cover goes away. Man, I'm right back to that high-def SST anytime I can get it. So those are the basic temperature charts that we're using and how to get at them. Now, the next thing that we're going to always check before we burn $1 worth of fuel in our boat is we're going to check for water color. And I know anybody who's fished long enough has had the same thing happen. You are in a hurry, you look at a chart, you find a good piece of water, you might run 30, 40, 50, 100 miles to that piece of water, and you find a big green soupy bathtub with no life in it. And that is where the watercolor comes into play. Watercolor actually measures the amount of particulate that's in the water. Particulate is what makes water green. That could be an algae bloom, it could be microorganisms, it could be mud in the case of the Gulf around the Mississippi and stuff like that. Anything in that water that is going to keep it from being clean will show up on this chart. Now, you got the same options here. You have a high definition chlorophyll. That is going to be your best chart when available, hands down. Go down to the bottom right corner, and try to get the best map possible. You might have to go back a couple of days, whatever, but it's there and it's ready to use. Now, from here, we also have different options. You have a 1-day composite chlorophyll, which within a 1-day turn, that's probably the map that I'm using the most. You're going to get multiple shots throughout the day. This will layer them for you, again, like a cake, but you can kind of see through the layers and it fills in all the blank spots, and it'll allow you to get a better overall picture of what's going on. The oldest date on there is going to be 24 hours. If the water's not going to move that much in the meantime, it gives you a really good picture. And then there's also a 3-day composite, same thing, that cloud cover, we get more time, and we can put that stuff together and give you the best possible shot given the limits of technology. In here also, there's one other thing. We don't use it here in California, but I know the Gulf guys love it, and it kind of goes part and parcel with this, but that's Imagery. And with Imagery, you're actually getting a satellite shot of the water. And you can see it's a photo. So if you're trying to find that water coming out of your favorite inlet and want to see how far the dirty water is pushed out, the best example for this that I can think of is the Mississippi River flowing down there below Venice. A lot of times that green line, as they call it, will shift in and out. And I've caught so many wahoo on that line, I can't even tell you. It's like just the best example of a water's edge ever, and you don't always get that with an SST or a chloro, but you will see it with the true color chart. So I hope this video has helped you understand exactly what you're seeing on the screen beyond just a bunch of pretty colors. Hopefully it's given you an idea of where to start, and then always I encourage you, take mental notes or even carry a pen and a pad on the boat. I still do to this day. You found these fish on this edge in this area, make a note of it. What else did you see that led you to these fish? Well, man, I had a real weird layer of bait or something on my meter at 60 feet and the fish seemed to like that. Make a note of that. All of these little crumbs and nuggets will come into play later on in your fishing career, maybe later on that day. So again, I hope this video has given you a better understanding of exactly how these maps work and how to practically apply them to your fishing days. If you've got questions, write into the guys at SatFish. They'll be happy to answer those specific questions for you, and good luck fishing this season.